a single invisible organism bringing a continent to its knees. Picture a world where the air itself feels heavy with dread, and every shadow could be hiding the next wave of disaster. In the mid-1300s, the Black Death did just that. It swept across Europe with terrifying speed, leaving devastation in its wake and changing the course of history forever. It arrived silently, carried by crews on rafts or merchant ships, and within 4 years, wiped out up to half of Europe's population. The disease spread by 44 cities, unstoppable in that city. The devastation was immediate. The town fell through in silence. Once bustling communities, the social fabric unraveled as fears drove people to their forcing people to question everything about life, death, and faith. The certainty of the old world was gone, replaced by doubt and searching. Art and literature seemed to fight this obsession with mortality and the fragility of existence. Images of death and the macabre became common as people tried to make sense of the chaos around them. The world that emerged from the plague shadow was transformed, marked by loss, but also by new opportunities for survivors. Communities rebuilt, and a new era slowly began to dawn. The Black Death was not just a turning point that changed the course of Western civilization. Its effects rippled through every aspect of life, from politics to culture. Its legacy would echo for centuries, shaping the world. Alter the fate of humanity. The Black Death left Europe eerily empty. Entire villages vanished, fields returned to wilderness, and the familiar rhythms of life were shattered almost overnight. The silence that followed was profound, echoing through empty streets and deserted homes. Cities lost their skilled workers, and the hum of daily commerce faded away. Markets that once bustled with activity now stood silent, their stalls abandoned. The population collapse was unprecedented, disrupting every aspect of daily life. Families were torn apart, communities struggled to live together in neighborhoods. Fewer mouths to feed, vast farmlands were abandoned, forests reclaimed the land. Crops withered in the fields, and once cultivated landscapes became wild and untamed. Wildlife returned to areas once dominated by humans, as nature quietly took back what had been lost. Deer, wolves, and birds flourished in the absence of people, filling the void left behind. The social structure, once so rigid, was hollowed out. The great houses and buildings of the cottages and life stood empty, their former inhabitants gone. Nobles, clergy, and peasants alike fell into leaving estates and monasteries. Even the spiritual heart of communities, churches and monks, power vacuums emerged, and the old web of feudal obligations unraveled. Lords struggled to maintain control, while peasants found themselves with new freedoms and choices. Survivors found themselves in a quieter, lonelier world, haunted by the loss of friends and family. The emptiness was both a burden and a strange new freedom. Grief and trauma lingered, but so did opportunity. For those who remained, the world was suddenly full of possibilities that had never existed before. With so much land and so many people, the rules of society and economy were about to change. Labor became precious, and the balance of power began to shift. The emptiness set the stage for a dramatic transformation, one where survivors could claim new roles and shape their destinies. The future was uncertain, but it was also wide open. The Black Death didn't just erase lives, it cleared the way for a new out of devastation. The sea changed itself. The world was quieter, but also by the promise of renewal. In the aftermath of the Black Death, the landscape of Europe was transformed. Labor was suddenly scarce, and for the first time in living memory, workers found themselves with real bargaining power. The tables had turned, and those who toiled the land could now demand more from those who owned it. Landowners, desperate to harvest their crops and keep their estates running, competed fiercely for peasants who were now in high demand. Wages soared, working conditions improved, and the balance of power began to shift. Peasants could negotiate for better terms, sometimes securing written contracts, and unheard of privilege before the plague. Many chose to leave their villages behind, seeking new opportunities and higher wages elsewhere. A wave of migration began to take hold. Cities emerged from the gaps left by lost craftsmen, fueling rapid urban growth. New trade and skills flourished. Bustling cities, never known before. The seeds of a more dynamic, market-driven society were sown as trade and commerce began to flourish in the wake of change. The survivors' bargain would reshape Europe for generations, setting the stage for a new era of possibility and transformation. The Black Death accelerated the decline of Europe, shaping the foundations of medieval society. With fewer peasants, lords lost their grip. Peasants demanded higher wages, more freedom, the right to own more self-rule. Many competed labor for cash rent, becoming active farmers and gaining more autonomy. This confidence led to revolts like the Jacqueline in France and peasants' revolt in England, signs that the old world was crumbling. Land was increasingly shifting to free trade and closed commerce, disrupting rural life and social order was emerging from the ruins. The Black Death shattered Europe's spiritual certainty. The church, once the bedrock of meaning, seemed powerless as the plague struck saints and sinners alike. Priests died in droves or fled, eroding trust in religious authority. The church's failure to explain or stop the plague led to widespread disillusionment and anti-clerical sentiment. Many questioned the church's wealth and priorities, while others turned to more personal, direct forms of spirituality. Some saw the plague as divine punishment, intensifying their devotion and fueling the cult of saints. The crisis fractured Europe's spiritual landscape, setting the stage for future religious upheaval. The seeds of the Reformation were sown in this era of doubt and searching. The Black Death forced people to rethink faith, authority, and their relationship with the divine. Amid spiritual chaos, the flagellant movement exploded. Groups of penitents marched from town to town, whipping themselves in public rituals. They believed self-inflicted suffering could atone for humanity's sin and the plague. Their dramatic processions set crowds, inspiring awe and fear. And for a time, many saw them as living saints. But the flagellants operated outside church rules, challenging its authority and preaching radical life. As the plague waned, the flagellants faded, their fervor spent. Their rise and fall revealed the depth of psychological distress and religious desperation unleashed by the Black Death. In crisis, people sought meaning in extreme ways, sometimes threatening the very order they hoped to save. The flagellant story is a testament to the era's turmoil and search for salvation. The Black Death left a deep scar on European art and culture. Pre-plague art was serene and hopeful, but after, artists fixated on death and decay, the fleeting nature of life. Dance macabre, decimating all ritual profound. Out of devastation, the Black Death cleared the way for a new world. The collapse of feudalism and rise of wage labor set the stage for capitalism and innovation. Survivors increased wealth and autonomy spurred new markets and technological advances. The church's weakened authority opened space for secular thought and creativity. Labor forces rose eventually from agriculture to printing, television, shock of the age. The Black Death world began to emerge. The Black Death was more than a catastrophe. It was a turning point that reshaped Europe forever. Its legacy lives in the rise of capitalism. Studying this dark chapter offers a mirror to our own vulnerabilities and our enduring hope. The story of the Black Death is a testament to the power of survival and change.